There we go. It just landed in my yard and I hopped in it. And so we're going to use this as a studio. Hello, Shift Army, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? I'm your host of The Shift, General Moses, and we're back here live, as always, Monday from kind of 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm joined today by a familiar face. Some of you guys may recognize Adapia. Adapia was here on the show late August. I recommend going back and watching that episode or make a note to go back and watch our episode because it was very insightful and it kind of snowballed into, I think, basically what we have here today, which is Brett and Keegan of Mindful Meds. Also want to encourage everyone tuned in right now to smash the like, smash the subscribe, go ahead and copy the URL, paste it, tweet it, put it in Discord, Telegram, all over the place. Dan McManus, Texas in the house. What's up? Everyone make some noise in the comments to get some shout outs going on here. Looking forward to today's conversation. We're going to be introducing some more people into the world of NFTs, guys. And I know the Shift Army has just been absolutely awesome, just helping people get familiar with what the heck is going on over here in this side of not only the blockchain space, but really the NFT space. Because we like the specific blockchain within the NFT, Brett and Keegan, called Wax. It's the Wax blockchain. What's up, Yuli? And the Wax blockchain, unlike the Ethereum blockchain, is much, 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 much more affordable to mint NFTs on. You always hear about Ethereum and its gas fees and stuff like that. And so that's been one cool thing about Wax. There's some really incredible projects on here. One that's coming to mind for me right now is the Uplift, which is basically, are you guys familiar with what a metaverse is by chance? Have you heard of any metaverse? Yeah. Okay. So actually there's a few different metaverses on the Wax blockchain now I think about it, because we had Dan from Immersis on here a few weeks ago, but I'm thinking of the Uplift world right now, which is like a Minecraft metaverse, and that one seems to have one of the strongest followings again within the Wax blockchain. And what the last piece I'll say here too is a lot of the Wax NFTs, if you're going to create something that's just a piece of art and that's it, it's probably not going to fly unless you have a really good reputation. What Wax users or NFT collectors are after are utility. So like there's a lot of games out there, for example, where if you hold a certain NFT in your wallet, then you'll generate a certain amount of points in a game, or you can, the NFTs give you the ability to do different things within certain games based on what you hold in your wallet. Whereas my general take, guys, I know there's some games out there. I know there's some games out there in the Ethereum blockchain that are coming out, including the Bad Days game, which we just had Blackbeard Willie on our show. But the Ethereum space, in my opinion, hasn't really figured out how to work the gamification process in a way that Wax has. So that's the cool thing about the Wax blockchain. And we're not as big out of the entire NFT space. We probably take up less than 5%, but we're having a good time over here and we're staying strong. So now about you guys and how we kind of built the connection here today. And I promise I'll shut up here soon so we can have the audience listen to you guys. But Adapia built the bridge here today, guys. She's been friends with and maybe working on the side with Keegan and Brett for a while. Keegan and Brett's website, you can see it in the description, is mindfulmeds.io. Go ahead and check out their site. I personally am a huge, I don't even want to say fan, but just advocate of what psilocybin and a lot of mushrooms can do for individuals. I've learned firsthand some really just life-changing experiences through plant medicine. And again, not just psilocybin, a lot of other things. I know we're going to talk about mushrooms here today, but I'm really excited to have them on because these guys are now thinking like, okay, how do we market and shift what we're doing so that way it can, maybe have some type of NFT blockchain effect. So thank you, Adapia, for bringing them here. Brett and Keegan, if you guys could just kind of maybe tell your personal story, like if you could give a 2-minute life story of yourselves and then kind of give the story of how you started working together on Mindful Meds. I got Keegan and Brett. We'll go Keegan first and then Brett.
Sure. What's up, everybody? So great to be here this morning. I cannot wait to toss around the ball with you guys and try to figure out how we can, grow our community and possibly take a look at some of this NFT stuff that you guys are up to. I have seen a few episodes. I love the energy in this show, and certainly just excited to be here this morning. So yeah, my life was amazing until I was about 22 years old. And at 22, I was going into my third year of university, and I got depression for the first time in my life. And really my life completely changed within 6 months. I started to kind of start neglecting school a little bit. I wasn't showing up in class the same way I was. And for me, I started to kind of self-medicate myself with alcohol at a really young age. And so that actually lasted for many years. I've been involved in startups and been a founder 6 or 7 times now since I was 22. But along the way, I clipped a pretty severe alcohol addiction. And when I was 31, this is 2016, I got into a rehab facility up here in Canada and decided that it was time to get my life back on track. And so ever since I left those walls of rehab, I've really transitioned my career into trying to figure out ways that we can help that community. So the trauma-based community, the people with addiction, the people with PTSD and depression. And it took me a long time to find it, but I actually ended up having this remarkable microdosing experience in 2019 on myself personally. And 2019, so just over 2 years ago, I guess. And, I kind of discovered it, and it really helped put some of those really challenging thoughts at bay for me. I was going through another difficult period where I was getting close to drinking again, and I could just feel myself slipping. And so I needed another tool and discovered microdosing. And so I put a self-funded study together. And we started to, we put a group of 40 people together, and we supplied all the medicines and all the intake. And what we did is we put together a 13-question kind of baseline questionnaire of people's mental health. And then we supplied the medicines, and then we looked at the data from that 6 weeks. People had to rerun that same questionnaire after 6 weeks. And the way the needle moved in these people's lives was absolutely fascinating. It was just jaw-dropping to watch people change and grow in that short amount of time. And maybe I can pass it over to Brett, because Brett was a part of that study, and he's become a big part of our company. He was the first guy on board. And that's how I met Brett.
Yeah, thanks.
Love it, man. Love it. Go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Man, too. I'm really stoked to be here. For me, I've been in the crypto space for a couple of years now, so the collision that I'm starting to see is super exciting, and psyched to be here. So like Keek said, I met him through the study. Moving backwards, I was traveling in Australia and kind of living on the beach, surfing, living what I thought was my kind of best life, but at the same time,
I think they're all sleeping right now, but we have a lot of Australians in our community, by the way. So
oh, amazing.
You want to throw some Australian lingo out there? Go for it.
Well, my brother lives in Tassie, so
there you go.
He's still down there and doing this thing. But yeah, man, so I've always been kind of, for me, I've been a part of like lion's mane, cordyceps, those medicinal mushrooms. I found a lot of growth early on in my 20s with training for marathons, then also with focus, that kind of thing. And so I was in Australia. I came back to Canada, and I went back into working, same sort of workforce. I was dealing with some stuff myself and kind of just trying to figure it all out. And that's how I ran into Keegan. I'd never thought about the psilocybin angle. And when I tried microdosing, it was just a game changer for me. I was doing a lot of self-work at the time, and it helped me immensely in that. And then I also it started to help me with my focus. I had some ADHD. I deal with some ADHD stuff, like I think a lot of us do. And that's where for me, it was just, it changed the game. So then I was like, I got to be involved in this. And that's kind of how we started this thing.
The microdosing piece is the coolest part, because I know even for myself, when I first got introduced to psilocybin, it was the concept of microdosing. I had heard of it, but that wasn't the way in which maybe I was participating, right? Like I was having some full-blown experiences, which were fantastic, right? But I guess I want to know, before we dive into a little bit more about mindful meds, what does it look like to microdose? Because you could, whether it's organized, how you guys have it kind of prepackaged and set for people to go, like I'm thinking of the person who might happen to have some of their own or whatever, and they're just like, okay, I want a microdose, but they don't know like how to how to break it down. Like what does that process look like if you weren't going to go through mindful meds?
Fairly simple, to be honest with you. It's time consuming and it's challenging to get the consistency super dialed in. So one of the things that right away that we realized was we needed the right equipment for this job. And so we invested heavily in some equipment that you traditionally see in a pharmaceutical lab, just to make sure that every single one of our pills had the exact same amount of psilocybin in it. And so that's one of the hurdles, I suppose. But honestly, fairly easy to do, minus the time-consuming piece. And so, for me, like I had a girl tell me the other day that she spent 6 hours trying to press 100 pills. And to me, I don't know. I think even if I wasn't doing this, I'd be purchasing it from another group. But it is doable and it's out there. And we're just advocating for legalization and the fact that, if you get an opportunity to do this on your own or through us, I think it's, you can potentially change your life. I mean, we're just seeing breakthroughs that, generally people could spend 5 to 10 years working through, that are having breakthroughs in 3 to 6 months. And in some cases with one macrodosing journey, just like what you were talking about. So a larger dose journey. So we're hyper focused on the microdosing, but there's also a place for the larger doses. So we can talk about both today.
Love it. And we got to have Adapia hop in here too.
So
go ahead. Lay it on us.
Okay. So so I've used plant medicines just as throughout my life, and my journey has been incredible. And when I first tried to self microdose, I remember I did it right before getting on a work call, and somehow that microdose really threw me. I was on this call and I thought, my God, I wonder if they can tell what's going on, because it actually shifted me so much that I was afraid to microdose again, because I didn't want to be in that situation where I was so paranoid about my thoughts and about what I was saying, and if people could, recognize, et cetera, et cetera. So when I tried self microdosing, that was actually my experience. And then I stopped completely. And even though I've been following the studies, I've been following all the movement around decriminalization and the mental health aspect and the research and Johns Hopkins, et cetera. And it wasn't until a few months ago when I first reached out to Keegan, as I thought okay, this makes sense to me. It's curated, it's in a pill form, it's constant, it's consistent. I want to try doing this. And now I'm an investor and I'm an advisor with Mindful. And the microdose experience is so much better when it's done right. And the way that they stack it with the lion's mane, it's just been such a game changer for me. And I'm so glad that even though a lot of time went by before I actually thought about microdosing again, that I'm doing it, because it's just been such an amazing support. And I haven't been able to do, I haven't really felt called to do big macro doses of anything, to be honest, in a while. But I want the continued kind of subtle effects that go on with the brain and what it does to your system. And so that's why I've been microdosing, and it's just been phenomenal. It's just really been amazing. And their product is so pure. And I've tried a lot of different things, and it's just clean. It's really clean. That's the best word that I can use for it. And I'm never going to self microdose again.
When did you first begin with mindful meds microdosing? Because I remember you telling me about it, but I didn't really ask. And I just feel personally knowing you at least over the past 6 months, if not more, you've been on this self-transformational journey and been very open and transparent about it ever since I met you. But I feel like the last 6 months, I'm dude, anyone that I introduce Adapia to, I know they're going to be holy crap, who is this woman? Everything she touches turns into gold. Is some of that coming from what you're getting out of the microdosing?
I mean, I think I reached out in May. And so I've been working with the product since then. So, I mean, Adam, like, like I've been on this journey for years. But what I find, I'm really thinking about this. This is a question I really need to think about. It gives me a level of stability in the way that I process life, because I'm so self-reflective, like I'm always reflecting and I'm always trying to like purify my intention and understand where I'm coming from, and like, why did I just do that to myself, or why did I act that way, especially if it's something that doesn't get a result that I want. This is like, it's like a stabilizer. And it actually showed me I have anxiety, and like you would think as a very A-type person, I would know that about myself, but I would never have said that I have anxiety. I think that's just my natural state. And so what I've noticed the most is with the microdose is that I'm just a little calmer in my energy, like in my body. Sure. And that's the biggest thing for me is I can operate 100% on everything that I do, but it just takes that edge off. That's not a positive edge, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. What's your I know exactly what you're talking about. What would your take be though for somebody who, anyone who's new to just a lot of what we're talking about here today might be concerned about, if you start doing this, like, are you going to get, addicted or whatever? Like, what would your take be on that?
So it's funny because my husband, Andrew, is so like, he's so like kind of afraid. He's like, well, I want to be able to like do my job. And I said, Andrew, this is the point. It actually helps with your creativity. It helps with your focus. Because he's thinking what I think a lot of people are thinking is like, it's going to throw me into like this whole other universe. And I'm going to be talking to trees and, what have you. But it's not, you're slightly enhanced in the way that you are. It's like anything, right? It's very subtle.
You know what I like to compare it to, and this is actually more so the effects after maybe like a macro dose. But once so a macro dose, I think no matter what, there's always a moment that personally I faced where it's like you are going to face something that you're not secure about, or your fears, like you're going to face something that you don't want to face. Mm-hmm. You're gonna be scared. Yeah. And once you break through, everything gets kind of a lot better. And from there, sometimes it feels like you're on autopilot. I don't know how to put it. It's like you're doing these things, but you're just like, yo, like, I don't know. But anyway, I can see they're ready to, what was that?
Well, you get yourself into a flow state. That's one of the biggest benefits of mushrooms in general. And I think that might be what you're referring to. It's just things become a little bit easier, a little more natural. You slip into that flow and there's not as much resistance.
I've been in a jam session with some friends one time, and they're playing guitar or whatever. And I don't really play any instruments, but like I can beat a drum on a cardboard box or whatever. And I'll never forget one time. It's a flow state. Like we're all just getting it, like just in the zone. And I've heard studies too that from an athletics perspective too. Again, that flow state, athletes kind of performing at a little bit of a higher level. I don't know what that looks like. Being a former college athlete myself, never really even knew anything about this world. But Brett, you said you surf, right?
Yeah, surf. And one for me, so cordyceps, I found, that one, it increases blood flow and oxygen intake and stuff. And I found mixing the two with, we have a Perform product, and using that with my running, I actually I was in this real flow state, and I knocked 10 minutes off my 10K, and it was the fastest.
Wow.
Done. Yeah. I was in the zone and I just was going, and before I knew it, I was done, and I looked and I was like, I've never done it that fast. And I've been running for years. Yeah. So it was a pretty cool thing, and I've explored it more in other sports as well. And it's, on the slopes or in the surf. I haven't actually had a chance to do it surfing yet, but I'm heading out to Mexico soon, and I'm going to experiment with it there. But it's pretty exciting what the performance factors have for it, because I think it's a whole new world there.
Guys, so real quick, I'm going to drop our viewers know in the comments, we do giveaways here periodically throughout the show. So we're going to get ready for our Ducky Marathon. So guys, enter your information in the Google form for the Duck Marathon. We'll fire that up in a little bit. It'll probably be a quick marathon here today because, man, I can't believe we're already almost halfway through. I'm enjoying this so much. We haven't even gotten to mindful meds really yet. I'm going to actually share my screen here too and pull up the website because, I just personally have some questions too as a shopper. But before I do that, let's go ahead and get it. Brett or Keegan, you guys decide who goes first. But just tell us about, again, a little bit more about the inception of Mindful Meds and where you guys are at now in this journey with the company.
Yeah.
Sure. The inception of Mindful Meds. Where should we start, Brett? It's honestly, we started just the two of us in my apartment. We were the guys that went out and bought the pill press off Amazon, and we really just. Here we go. Yeah.
Continue.
No, I was just going to say, so the original idea was to honestly wholesale this to cannabis companies and kind of keep a low profile but with the objective of getting as many bottles into as many people's hands as humanly possible, but using other people's customer bases. And we thought that might be the safest play for this. And the reality is as we got into it and as we started to understand it and as we started to see people's lives change right in front of us, we knew we had to switch around that model completely. So we now, went from using a fake name in our emails to really kind of drawing a line in the sand and saying, wow, like there is so much medicinal value here that we need to advocate for this and we need to be the face of this and we need to move this forward and not kind of hide under a rock and do it the way the rest of the industry is doing it. Honestly, there's nobody that's really put a face to this. And yeah, maybe that comes with some risks, but the reality is here in Canada and actually down in the US as well, I mean, it's becoming abundantly clear that the medicinal value is there, right? Like this is not a drug whatsoever. This is certainly a medicine. And so, yeah, we built a site, we built the Instagram community, and now our major focus is actually just how can we continue to grow that community? How can we give people more of an educational experience? And even if they're not quite ready to purchase, what can we give them that's going to be valuable so that when they leave our site, they're going to know a few things? And so our focus hasn't just been on the supplements. By the way, I think we're now positioned as the #1 supplement brand for microdosing in the country. We've never one single time in 2 years had to do a single return. So we've never returned a single person's money. And yeah, 200 plus 5-star reviews on the product just to kind of shout out just really how good and consistent our product truly is. But now that we've got kind of those accolades, I suppose, we're shifting to just really community focused. I mean, like, how can we help more people and how can we share our stories to hopefully nudge people to share their stories? So create a community where we can get vulnerable with one another. We can share the painful parts of our lives with one another. So yeah, that's kind of the new direction. It's not just hyper focused on the supplements. It's now moving in towards what can we do using our stories and our vulnerability to help people at a deeper level, at that trauma level.
And real quick, so I know there's pluses and minuses to living in, whether you're in Canada or you're in the US. And yeah, I'll be honest, I just got back from the States. I was like, man, America, it really, like, there's a lot of things you can get access to in the States that you just can't get anywhere else in the world. However, this situation, I know I'm really happy that I'm in Canada because I'm probably just going to be hitting you guys up right after the interview. What's it like shipping? Are you able to get the product into the States right now? What's that like?
Yeah, so unfortunately, we're not shipping the psilocybin products into the US yet. I mean, it's just the risk profile just goes so high. And the reality is like we have at least 1,000 Canadians now that heavily rely on us for their meds. And it would just be such a shame if, one bottle got through and some asshole border guy, decided to shut us down and kind of ruined it for everybody. But that being said, our functional mushrooms, the mushrooms that don't have psilocybin in them, so the lion's mane, the cordyceps mushrooms, we're bringing in turkey tail and chaga. Those we can get into the US no problem. And for anybody that's just kind of tippy-toeing their way towards microdosing, functional mushrooms are a really good starter point for this. And And I think it's something that your community is going to be interested in. I mean, it just sounds like such a forward-thinking group of people here that are looking to elevate, looking to think 2 steps ahead. And I got to tell you, that's kind of really in alignment with who we are. We're constantly thinking 2 steps ahead. But so the answer to that is yes, we can get half of our products down into the US, no problem. But right now we're not shipping the psilocybin products, but we are working on that side of things. I would love to open that up eventually, but it's just a little too dangerous at this point in time.
Yeah. And so because I think we definitely do have a decent amount. We got some Canadians listening in the US and all around the world tuned in right now. Is there any type of, if not, I completely understand, but is there any recommendation or resource you could point an American to who would be interested in microdosing? If not, if it's do your own homework, that makes complete sense. But I'm just wondering if you guys know somewhere people could go.
Here's the thing. I know it's being sold. I know you can find it. But the challenge is for me, unless like I've gone and met these people and I've seen exactly where the source is coming from. Like we have our own farm. We deal with organic farming up here in Canada. And actually some of our farmers are down in the US. But, it comes with a COA, which is, a certification of authenticity, which actually does, it grades the mushrooms. And so until I have somebody that's doing something very similar to what we're doing, that just truly cares about the end user, and I can stamp it with our name on it, honestly, I just haven't found anybody that's doing things the way we are up here in Canada yet. I know you can access it, but I'm not about to put my name on the line for anybody yet.
Right.
How about you guys? Do you guys out of Pia? Same thing?
Yeah, I like the purity and it really is a quality. It's really like a quality. Your mushrooms are like really high quality. So, I mean, we know there's movement in the US through groups that are actually called entheogenic churches. And there's this whole law that's being created by it exists. And a gentleman that we know who's very active in the space is a lawyer. He sets up entheogenic churches. And basically what happens is these churches, these groups are using plant medicine, psychedelics as a sacrament. And that's how they're able to do it legally in the US. So those groups are underground, but you can find them, and then they're built in such a way where you get the support. Because I've done plant medicine with like shamans and have not been held and have been left basically on my own to deal with some like Adam, like you said, you face the things that you don't want to face. I've had a couple of experiences which really speaks to the quality of who is leading you in a ceremony and like the intention that you're taking any medicine with. But these groups essentially create a safe space, and the safety is really paramount to the experience. So there's these entheogenic churches that exist all over the US where you can go do a macro dose, where you can get support in a community where, maybe you can get microdose as a support for integration, especially after a big journey of any kind. Like I find it's like a really lovely integration source. So that's like a little tip. Entheogenic churches, you can possibly like ask or look for them. They usually run a little bit underground in the US, but it is legal. They found this workaround, which is really cool because so many people need benefit from these medicines, because we're talking about mental health, which is everything. So yeah.
Everyone's trying to figure out what's the savior for mental health. And I mean, it might not be the ultimate answer, but we're definitely sitting on something that's just been sitting here. And thankfully, I mean, I don't know what it is, the awakening. I mean, anything we're talking about right now, probably late 60s, early 70s, and up until about maybe even a decade ago was just like shunned. You're a bad person or you're evil or whatever, if you consider any of this. And I don't know, personally, I'm just happy to see there is like a little bit of an awakening going on right now. And I just hope that, good things happen with what's going on, which it seems like that's what's happening. So
yeah. I was actually reading an article the other day, and they were saying how 18 to 23-year-olds were doing more LSD and psychedelic drugs rather than doing cocaine or any of those other hard drugs. So I think you're almost seeing this phase transition almost, which is exciting, because I think that's so much.
All right, so we're gonna. I don't know if you guys got to check out in some previous streams like the Ducky marathons. I just got to make sure we get it fired up here and going. Yeah. So got all of our duckies ready to go. Whoever finishes first at the end of this race is going to receive a Shift 18 karat Shift Ducky Marathon NFT. And from our last pop-up stream, we got a pretty cool. Where is it? It's a mosaic pack from our buddy Futures Relic, which Futures Relic is he's out of Ottawa, so we'll keep things Canadian here today. So whoever wins the Duck Marathon is going to receive this Futures Relic pack, as well as the Ducky Marathon NFT. So here we go. Let's just get this thing going here in the background. All right. Sweet. And then now that the Duckies are racing, I got to go over here and go back to work. So this is where I was at the other day, and I'm looking through. You guys got so many products, which is awesome. I'd rather it be that way than only two. But I'm like, what do I go with here? And I didn't even realize until today we got the teas here too. So I want to look at the teas. But first, I'm debating between psilocybin and whole mushroom. Let's go to psilocybin here. So this is a microdosing section, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are our bundles. They have psilocybin. These bundles generally are going to take you kind of 8 to 12 weeks worth of products. So that's one of the things that we're really happy about and really proud about is, we've been able to make this affordable for people. Whereas if you go on some of the other sites, they're 20 to 30% more expensive. And so when you order a bundle, you get a bit of a selection, so you can try a few of our products. We have 6 signature microdosing products to kind of choose from, and each of them will kind of do a little bit of a different thing for you.
I gotta know in a nutshell. And I know as a creator, like if it was me and I were you right now, I'd talk about this one for 30 minutes. I'd talk about this one for 30 minutes. It's like, if you can find a way, and Brett and Keegan, if you guys want to alternate or whatever too, feel free to. But if you could just give me like the 2-minute summary of each one, because I just want to know, where should I start? Which one's the right one for me?
Yeah. I mean, when we look at that, we want to just kind of figure out exactly what you are looking for. Like, what are you looking for? Are you looking for more creativity? Are you looking for more energy? Are you looking to connect? Are you looking to for brain fog and clarity? Are you looking for something that you're going to feel? Are you looking for something that you're not going to feel? How's your mental health right now? Out of 10, like where are you at? These are the questions that you, like, if you were to come through our live chat on the site and ask us. As you can see, we have a live chat there that's open from we'd want to get to know you first. We'd want to kind of really pinpoint, what it is or how we can help you. And once we know a few things, then we can really direct you, if that makes sense.
Awesome. That's good sales, because that's how you got to do it anyway. You got to diagnose me.
Well, totally, man. And it's, the one thing too that we're super passionate about is, these SSRIs, which are just kind of depression and anxiety meds that you can walk into and literally have any doctor in North America prescribe to you same day. There's the studies out there showing that they're not as effective as we once thought they were. And the reality is some of them are quite dangerous, and some of them are quite dangerous from a withdrawal perspective. So as you're, trying to get yourself off some of these SSRIs, it can be extraordinarily challenging. I mean, you've got really a 50-50 chance of it either being enormously challenging or actually having no side effects whatsoever. So you're going to fall into one of those categories. But the reality is our products make that transition. So when you're thinking about trying something new and probably something a little bit healthier, our products can really help with those withdrawal symptoms. And they're being used globally right now as a tool to help support people get off these SSRIs. So that is generally the first question we're going to ask. Like, are you on anything prescribed today?
Thankfully, no.
Yeah.
I've been totally against depending on CVS or Walgreens or Shoppers in the Canadian case for anything. I don't know. I didn't always think that way, but I'd say the past 4 years, just
Amazing.
uncovering more and more of Adipia knows. I don't want to go off on a tangent about my opinion on anything run by a government, but yeah, you feel my vibe. So
Yeah, totally.
where I'm at right now,
Great question there too.
I'll be honest. Like I take supplements currently. I would say anything psilocybin related, maybe once a quarter, but that would be again more in the macro dose form. In regards to where I'm at right now, I'd say about like an 8 out of 10, meaning like I know that there's always room for improvement. I'm always looking to get better. So it's tough. Like I think if I were to never microdose or purchase anything from you guys, I would feel very good about where I'm at. However, again, I just want to get better. So I think what I like about my experiences is it kind of sometimes it puts you in a childlike state of mind, which gives you ideas, I guess, going to creativity. You get ideas that you would never think of when you're just kind of stuck in this like adult mindset, So I'd say creativity combined with every now and then I'd say I struggle a little bit with energy. Like my least favorite part of any day is getting out of bed. Like I hate getting out of bed. Once I'm out, I'm good. But so I'd say creativity and energy would be, and as you mentioned, something you could feel. I definitely like, feeling a little bit of something too. So,
okay.
What are we looking at with that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first off, I don't know when the last time I was on a conversation with somebody that responded with there being 8 out of 10 with their mental health. So, man, I just want to tip my hat to that because I don't see that very often. And maybe it's just the lens that I have coming through our company. But generally speaking, even with my own friend group, like I don't know if because this is an interesting question that I'm always asking people because I'm really super curious about, what's your happiness level out of 10? And, most people are coming back at that 5.5, 6, some are 7. And so one of the things that I want to point out is that this isn't just for the underdog. This isn't just for people that are struggling with depression, anxiety, and addiction. This is actually for the high performers as well. And we've got a few of them on this call with Adipia and yourself. And so, a great place to start this journey based on what you've just told me, our Inspire, which is one of our, it's got just a little bit extra psilocybin in it. It's got 250 milligrams. So if you go shop, because what you can do is you can create yourself your own bundle. So we've got some bundle ideas, but you're able to actually formulate.
Let's do it. I want to create my own. Let's do
your
it.
own bundle.
How do we do it?
It should be. Where are you there?
Oh, I got to scroll down. Okay.
It's the Freedom Bundle, isn't it? Top, middle,
Freedom
top.
Bundle. Yeah, was it there?
Yeah, right there.
There.
Create your own. Thank you, Adipia.
And so the Inspire, like from a creativity perspective, this is one that is going to get those juices flowing. It is something you're going to feel. So when we talk about microdosing, generally speaking, 4 out of our 6 products you don't feel whatsoever. So you can take them in the morning, you can drive your vehicle, you can have your kids around, you can go to the office. You're not even going to feel this in your body. But for you, Adam, somebody that's kind of, in a bit of a different state and wants to shoot for a bit more creativity, the Inspire is definitely the way that you're going to want to lean. And so, to me, you'll have a slight body buzz, maybe like a 2 to a 2.5 at the most out of 10 for about 2 hours. But it's going to be a very pleasant 2 hours, and then you'll have that afterglow for the entire day after that as well. So you don't want to get yourself in a situation where you're like, got to pee and pop one of these right before a Zoom call like this, because you might be buzzing a little bit. But sure. The reality is, for creativity, it's one of the best products that we have for that. And so what that is it's 250 milligrams of psilocybin, and then the rest of the pill is actually organic lion's mane. So those two,
I love lion's mane.
Between the two,
I take lion's mane.
Okay, cool. So there's that, but there's also the product that Brett was talking about, which is our Perform. And I got to be honest, I think this product is going to be the product that truly gets us on the map this year, because this is for the high performers. This is for people that are looking for mental and physical stamina and that boost of energy. So for you, Adam, I think I'd want to kind of maybe point you to the Perform. And
would you take all these at the same time, or what would the?
Here's the beauty of it. I mean, it's extraordinarily safe to kind of mix and match. The reason we have 6 different products is because every day we're faced with different problems, right? Like some days we got to go out and perform in a meeting, and then the next day we're at home working on some creativity stuff and trying to get our businesses.
Nikki, I say Nikki's my wife. Nikki, I don't know if you're listening right now, but at this very moment, I'm so happy that we live in Canada right now.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And that's the thing though. So that's the beauty of grabbing a bundle, is that you can kind of tailor it based on the type of week that you're having. But to answer that question, extraordinarily safe to take multiples. Sometimes it's incredibly necessary to do so. I use the Inspire, which is where we're kind of leading you in a bit of a different way sometimes, because, for me, running this company and my life, generally, I would say is at that 7.5 kind of level. But at least once or twice a week, I'm having a tough day. I'm having a tough couple hours. And, those tough couple hours to me can sometimes lead to a tough 5-6 hours, right? So how do you nip that in the butt before it shifts your entire day, or maybe, zaps you for a couple days? I take the Inspire in those situations. So like really heavy stress, really heavy anxiety, I pop one of these and I'm back to baseline literally within 40 minutes. It works every single time. So my previous me, it was, okay, let's go roll a joint. Let's go to the bar and cool off and have a double, right? And then come back at it. And it was just always this way more destructive behavior. And what I find with mushrooms is it totally brings you back to baseline, puts you back on that path. And so you can use it that way as well. But I also use it in situations where, we're outside or enjoying a hike. It's so multifaceted. But the reality is these can work in so many different situations for you.
I love it. So are those the 2 recommendations? Were there any other recommendations here?
Yeah, well, the Modern is the one that we built the study around. So if you look at the Modern Med, so that is like our most trusted product. I would say that 9 out of 10 people, when they're introduced to us, they either start on the Micro or the Modern. And this is one you can take in the morning, and you can take and, like I said, operate your vehicle, go to the office. It's 1/10 of a gram of mushrooms that are in that. So just like, a very, very small amount. And that's honestly all you need. But for the Modern, sub-perceptual, like you could get on this call, Adam, with the Modern in your system and probably just be slightly elevated. But the reality is like not inebriated whatsoever. So I would say those 3 products to get you introduced would be a great little starter pack.
Love it. All right, so I'm going to save this tab for later. And I know we're winding down on time here too. Brett, do you got anything for us there? You want to hop in? Did Keegan cover it all?
Yeah. Keegan pretty much nailed it. I was just a quick question for you. What is it about the Lion's Mane that you like?
Oh, you know what? I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, is this in my head or is this real? And I gotta say it's real. Well, one, just based on my research, I like how it not only like basically fights against any form of Alzheimer's, but it actually like regenerates the nervous system. I didn't think that was possible. And the reason why I think that's true now is because I remember about a year ago, I was feeling like my fingertips, and it gets cold up here. And I'm like, man, am I getting old? I actually like can't necessarily feel the tips of my fingers right now. And I've been taking Lion's Mane for probably close to the past 6 months. And like, I swear I can like feel my fingertips again. And apparently, that's, unless it's, what do they say, placebo effect, but I beg to differ. And so,
yeah. Well, the funny thing about the placebo effect, if it's working, it's working. So it doesn't really matter. It makes it
true.
But yeah, man, that's the lion's mane. I think these functional mushrooms have so much property, and that's why we, like Keegs was saying, use the lion's mane in the stack with the psilocybin, and it seems to break that blood-brain barrier, like Stamets and those guys have done the research on.
If the duck race winner is in Canada, I will get you something. Just so you know, I saw that was the thing there.
Yes, absolutely. We will definitely send you something, and gladly take care of that.
Who's the trail runner right now?
Oh yeah, let's just check it here real quick. We got 5 minutes. There we go. You
know what? Honestly, if they're in the US, we're also going to send you something too. It won't be the psilocybin based products, but hit us up in our DMs. One thing, Adam, I just want to mention too, if you go back to our homepage real quick.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me leave that.
So if you just go mindfulmeds.io and you scroll down to the bottom. So right here. So or either the pop-up or if you keep scrolling down.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries, man. Keep going. Okay, so just above there is our...
This one?
Okay, right here. So right here you can sign up for a free microdosing guide. And this is like, all you do is you put your first name, your email in, we'll send it right to you. And it's kind of a 5-page comprehensive introduction to microdosing. So, everybody has questions in here. And if you guys just want a super good resource tool just to learn about this, I think we've got the best microdosing guide in the industry. So all you got to do is put your first name in, your email, we'll connect you with it. And it goes for you too, man. Like before the products land, it would be super beneficial for you to read through the microdosing guide. And the reason being is because, one of the things that we found is that microdosing isn't just this magic bullet solution that, the white collar medicine likes to give us, right? Here, take this pill and you're going to be totally cured. Microdosing is completely different than that, in a sense that what we try to do is give you access to other tools and other modalities to help improve your life. So leaning into breath work and meditation and the yoga. In almost every single anecdotal case of microdosing, people eat healthier, people sleep better, people are just generally uplifted, your frequency rises.
You ever notice that? I've noticed my flexibility goes up. Like wow. You just feel it, and you sometimes like, oh my goodness, I'm so stiff right now, and like you just have to stretch. Like, and when I'm not in that, I don't know, flow state or whatever, I don't feel that. I'm sorry, I just thought of that as you were talking about.
I think that you're tuning into that mind-body connection, right? And that's what's so cool about this process, because that's a huge missing link in our health right now.
Yep. Yeah, flexibility definitely goes up.
So I just wanted to drop that so that your audience knows, even though maybe we can't ship it, if you guys want to learn a little bit. And then if you just scroll back up slightly, just real quick, and it'll be the last thing on the site. So our microdosing study is there too, if you want to see kind of the data that we pulled from the study that we put together that we were speaking about at the very start of this. It's all in here.
We'll get it there.
Cool.
Show everyone. This is 2 steps. There you go. Boom. You can get it.
And this is something we're pretty proud of, because nobody else in the whole industry, not one other company that we know about, either in the public sector or in the gray market, did anything like this. So it just gives you an idea of just how seriously we took.
What are you guys thinking about as you continue to grow? How do you want to handle the private versus public situation? Because it seems like it's inevitable that you'll get big enough one day where someone's like, hey, here's a lot of money.
It's already happened, man. It's happened 3 times already on this young journey. And, it's something we'll always look at. But the reality is when you make that jump into the public sector, you can no longer serve the community with the medicine, right? You slide over into this research. You put the lab coat on and you hire scientists and you start designing products for the future, when the reality is the medicine's here now. And we're at a time where people need access to this so badly, it's not even funny. Our society is collapsing all across North America. We all know this. Depression numbers are through the roof. These SSRIs are being handed out faster than they ever have in human history. and they're not working for people. Addiction rates are through the roof. So that's kind of my stats on it today. Like we have had opportunities to explore this, but when you take a company public and you've got all this hedge fund money, all of a sudden they're in control, right? Mm-hmm. And so for today, we're super grateful to be able to get a product into people's hands and actually see the tangible change. And we're seeing it every single day. I mean, I wake up in the morning and turn my laptop on, and we've got 3 to 5 people that have just reached out saying, holy shit, this in my last 30 days have been amazing. And, I was here 6 months ago and now I'm here. And so, yeah, I don't really have a firm answer to that. It's something we'll continue to explore. And certainly if the right opportunity comes about, we're interested. But it's challenging to think that we'd have to put a halt to everything and not be able to service the community with the medicine, because it's one or the other, right? Yeah.
What I guess what are your thoughts in regards to now going back to kind of growing the company? I know when Adipia and I first connected about what you guys were doing, a lot of marketing topics came up. Do you guys, I guess, what does the marketing strategy look like for you in the future? And do you have any high level ideas, since I know you're kind of new to NFTs and we didn't even really talk that much about NFTs today, but do you have any visions of what you would like to do combining your company with marketing, blockchain, NFTs, et cetera? Like, is there anything coming to mind? Because I'm sure we can connect you with the right people if we know what direction you want to go.
Yeah. I'll let these two jump in. I've had the floor here for too long.
Yeah, some for me, it gets me really excited because I think the community here with the mental health space, having people to check in on and see that everyone we're all going through stuff. So, and the ability that blockchain gives to create a learning platform, a way for people to pass through NFTs. I'm still kind of learning about, but a vision that's come to mind for me is being able to create a platform where we can have doctors presenting information. We can create a currency where people are exchanging goods and services for, or earning to learn, or however that might break down, where people are sharing information and you're breaking the stigma around psychedelics and pushing that narrative and at the same time helping a lot of people and people grow, learning from each other.
So if anyone tuned in right now wants to support you in that way, like whether it's, again, the NFT avenue or marketing ideas, is there a way that they can give you their recommendations, feedback, or interaction?
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Probably email, if we throw an email in the comments there.
Mm-hmm. What do you want to go with? Info,
anything, really anything. We're kind of open to any ideas right now. We're at info and NFTs. I'm
sorry, is it info? Is it like info at mindful?
Oh, sorry. Info at mindfulmeds.io.
Yeah. There we go. Nice. I have some ideas too. I want to talk to you guys about once we wind this thing down. But this has just been incredible. By the way, Roger, that's right. Roger, congratulations. Make some noise in the comments. By the way, Roger, are you here? That's the number one rule of the Ducky Marathons. You have to be here to claim your prize. And normally it shows us here who came in second and third. It's not showing up, but it looks like Yuli from, he's our German in Romania. It looks like you came in second here. Boone, I know you're close, but it looks like Yuli. So Roger, if you don't make some noise in the next 30 seconds, oh, there he is. Okay.
Yes. Congrats, Roger.
Nice. So Roger, if you want to shoot an email, I guess, to Mindful Meds as well and let them know. Oh, Andy's Canadian. There you go.
Oh,
congratulations.
Yeah.
Perfect. So Roger, if you, so that info at mindfulmeds.io, reach out to us, drop us your address. And actually what would work best is if you maybe could come through the DMs on Instagram and we could have a little chat with you, or through the live chat, so that we could get you set up with products that really are tailored towards you and not just kind of a guess, if that works for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Roger, I'm just making sure I send your your Wax wallet over to Sarav, who is our guardian of the Ducky Marathon NFTs. Please send one to Roger. But you got the Futures Relic one should be in your wallet as well now, Roger. Congratulations. That's like the ultimate jackpot there. 2 NFTs and some mushrooms too. So, okay, we're going to wind it down. I want to go around the clock here real quick, though. Let's see. You guys know I always like we already did this one with Adapia, though. I was going to say what's everyone's favorite ice cream. So let's go with let's go with what's everyone's favorite. If you had to pick one product from mindfulmeds.io, Keegan, Brett, Adapia, what would be like if you had one for the rest of your life? Which one would you go with? And yeah, we'll go Keegan, Brett, and then Adapia.
Sure, man. I mean, it changes. It honestly does. I was in a phase where I was doing lots of cardio and I was doing all these stairs for like 150 days last year. Honestly, I did so much cardio and I was big into the Perform. But now for problem solving and for stress and anxiety, it's the Inspire. I use it the most for sure.
Inspire. There we go.
The one that's coming to you today as well.
Yeah. Brett, what's up?
Yeah, I think for me, man, I love to run. I gotta stick with the Perform. That one, I love cordyceps. I love the adaptogens in there, and yeah, that's my homer.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. And Adapia, what are you going with?
Mine is modern. That's
okay.
Like my go-to is modern, and sometimes I stack it with extra lion's mane. So it's got a lot of lion's mane in there, but what I've done is there's also just pure lion's mane of mindful meds. So I'll take one and one. So that's my go-to. And we didn't really talk about this, but setting an intention when you take them is super important. Don't just like pop it. It's still it's still a medicine. I mean, like anything, honestly, like even they have a really great immunity blend that I've been taking too. And the immunity blend is really fantastic. So I set an intention with all mushroom products, but yeah, set an intention for sure.
And we speak to that in the microdosing guide too. So if you are a beginner or you just want to learn, there's a lot to it. It's because I'm glad you brought that up, Adapia, because once you apply the tactics in the microdosing guide and the medicines, you're going to see your life scale to a place that you just couldn't even imagine, honestly, in a very short amount of time. But when you're just popping them without intention and not putting the other work in, we're not seeing that high of results. So certainly, I love that you dropped that.
Love it. And man, could you give us a quick recap? Because I know I had it pulled up there, but I noticed the teas are priced significantly less. So are they not quite as potent, or are they something different? What's the story on the tea products?
Yeah, they're from our friend Erin out at Woodland Tea Company. She's actually outside Edmonton in Spruce Grove, and she all just sources all this amazing ingredients and we made some recipes with her, and they're actually higher dosage. They're all at 1 gram dosages. So they're more a one serving go. So they're loose, so you can do it in whatever you like to take your tea in. And they're more that intro into that macro space around that 1 gram mark.
Got it. So you have to talk to Erin. That's a little bit of a steal, I feel. Oh, well, you know what? It's like one. How many doses are in one thing?
Just one.
So
yeah.
Oh, it's like one dose. Okay.
It's just like one tea bag.
Okay, that makes sense. Cool. Well, I've heard of the tea format. I've never actually been able to experiment with that. So keep that
the tea
on the back burner.
Yeah. For like a macro, it's like subtler in a way. It's like It's very gentle.
There we go. We got the in-life testimony right there. Cool. All right. So Keegan, Brett, Adapia, thank you so much for bringing us all together here today. I'm sure something is going to snowball out of this, as I mentioned, when we're done here. I know I got some more follow-up questions for you guys, but for the sake of the show, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you to our amazing audience, guys. Smash the like, smash the subscribe, make some noise in the comments. Just hammer it up. Let's see if we can flood the chat before we get out of here. I want to give you guys another chance to say goodbye. So Keegan, Brett, Adapia, one more final goodbye. Got anything you want to say?
Don't smoke the tea.
Don't smoke the tea.
Yeah.
There we go. Don't smoke the tea. All right, guys, thank you for tuning into The Shift. I'm your host, General Moses. Remember, drop a hashtag next level in your wax address in the comments. You never know. We might just come back here one day and give you a little present. So drop it in there. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in here. I'll scroll through the comments here real quick. Morton, I know you're blowing us up here today. Thank you for the love, man. Boone, Roger, Dan. What is it? Hussein, new name. Hussein, keep hanging out with us, man. And I'll give one more as I scroll up here. Who else gets a shout out? Cesaron out of Mexico. I know he wants it to get shipped to Mexico. Okay, cool. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Remember, in all you think, say, and do, Shift Army, take it to the next level.